the conversation just then, you said it's the person that can walk in and get change happening. And this is, I'm paraphrasing. How do you keep change moving when it is sometimes so heavy?
Yeah, look, I think one of the great speakers we had at the Not Now, Not Ever events, a young woman called Georgie, said in her contribution, she was 12 when I gave the misogyny speech. And of course now, because we're talking about the 10-year anniversary, I've got it in my head that it's 10 years. But before we were so focused on the 10-year anniversary, I used to underestimate how long ago it was. And so, you know, I'd get young women like her come up and say, oh, I was 12 when you gave the speech, and I'd be looking at them thinking, shouldn't you still be wearing a school uniform? Like, why are you out in the world by yourself? And then I'd have to add it up and go, oh, that's because they're in their early 20s, okay? You know, she said what impressed her as a 12-year-old, it was the first time she'd seen a woman sit calmly with her anger, whereas she'd always been taught as a girl that anger's an ugly emotion, that women shouldn't get angry, that if you feel like you're getting angry or head up, you need to, you know, tamp that down, you need to keep that inside and not express it. So I was angry, but I was coolly angry, not emotionally sort of hot angry. And I think that's an important distinction, partly because, you know, I think for many women when they get hot angry, we get tears in our eyes and things like that. People think we're upset rather than that we're outraged, and so sometimes the right emotion doesn't end up being expressed into the world. But the other thing is, big change requires the combination of anger and outrage and determination to change it, married with the analytical traits about how can we best do this. Otherwise we just sort of explode, but it doesn't translate into a concerted sort of work program for change. And so I think that spirit of marrying the sort of cool anger with the analysis, which just came intuitively to me when I gave the misogyny speech, does matter as we think about how do we best mobilise and do things together.